One was gorgeous and the rest of it is. This is the sweater that's there. I have not seen it. It's really pretty. I mean, I saw it.
You hear me from here? Yep. Okay, good. Alright, today I'm going to demo Chicken Piccata.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of rearranging.
Okay, first off, I'd like to start with the ingredient list while this pan heats up here. Capers, of course. I have minced garlic, little chopped parsley for garnish, lemons, which I'll juice, flour for dredging, and chicken, of course. Now, I did not want to pound all this chicken out here in front of you. I also have an example of both. Here's what we started with, and here's the finished product. I used a heavy mallet, cutting board, cover it with a little plastic so juices and whatnot aren't all over your kitchen. Use the tooth side, of course. You want it as thin as possible so it cooks as quickly as possible. So yeah, we're going to render this down and let's get started. Put the glove on. Now this is olive oil and vegetable oil blend, 90-10. 10% olive oil and 90% vegetable oil.
Yeah, why do you mix it?
If you use the straight olive oil, it'll scorch.
So it has a higher temperature?
Much higher. So if I add the chicken to it, my flour, which is going to create my roux, I'll show you that here shortly, will brown and it'll have a toasted flavor, which you really don't want in a chicken.
So it's 90 olive and 10% veggie?
The other way.
Reverse it.
Yes.
10% olive. 10%? 90%.
Okay, so I'm going to add my salt to my flour. A little bit of ground pepper.
Thanks.
So you just want to lightly dredge this. You're not exactly breading it. The flour keeps it from sticking to the pan. It's also going to create a roux, like I said, to thicken my sauce. Forgive me, I've never used this equipment before, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take to heat up, but it should heat up fairly quickly. Yes?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say 90% olive oil and 10%?
It's 90% vegetable and 10% olive oil.
Okay, thank you.
What if you use coconut oil?
Sure. I mean, that's all personal choice. I mean, you could use a coconut oil. Now, the only reason I might not do that is because the capers and the lemon are awfully bitter. With a sweeter oil, you might get a bit of an odd flavor there. But hey, experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is it getting hot? We are using Bonnie's burner for those of you who knows Bonnie. Have a little bit of her here.
Are you friends with Bonnie?
Very much so. I talk to her every day.
Oh, you
How
have
is
to
she?
send her our love.
She is waiting to have the last little nuggets burned out of her through more chemotherapy. And then she has her brother's stem cells waiting for her. So if they can just reduce it a little bit, she'll be able to move forward and get better. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tell her we wish her the best.
I will. She said to say hello to everybody.
The best way to test your oil, just like everybody else does at home, I guess, just sprinkle a little flour in it. You don't want it to be translucent. Again, it'll scorch your flour and it won't come out exactly right. So this is pretty close. Like I said, you don't really want a crust on it. It's just going to keep it from sticking to the skillet here and thicken my sauce as it heats up. Now here I have a heavy chicken stock. I use a heavier chicken stock for the salt content. And I use a salted butter. I'm not going to add any extra salt to this sauce. Like I said, the capers are awfully salty. bitter as well.
What's the difference between a heavy chicken stock and just the chicken
It's-
stock
it's
I make by
double.
boiling my chicken?
It's double basically. Heavier base, a lot heavier than what you normally use, so less water basically. You know what I mean? So just like this. And this is exactly how we do it in our kitchen, so we don't use electric, but
Yeah, you got a little hotter flame there, but this will work for demo.
oh sure.
Can you buy the heavier chicken stock in a store, or you have to do this?
If you want to use, you know, like a basic bouillon, just double it. You know, I mean, if you don't want to make a chicken stock at home, I'm sure most of you aren't at home making chicken stock. So. Yeah. All right. Good.
Yes. Yeah, I just found that out.
Perfect. I think everybody can see.
Dang, this is starting to,
Yeah, it is.
I don't remember it
Now,
taking
did
that
you
long.
go to culinary school or just have experience?
I pretty much learned from a bunch of people I worked with. I've done several food seminars and expos across the country. I've done a few in Chicago, Las Vegas, a few interactive luncheons in Las Vegas, which were incredible. If you have the chance to do it. In May, they do an uncorked food show in Las Vegas every year. It's really not expensive to buy in, and they have several events. You can meet with basically any chef you'd like to meet with. Everybody's there, so it was interesting. It was definitely very interesting.
Maybe
Good learning experience.
Maybe a lot of them don't know that you did run Wilman's for all those years.
And I also ran Wilman's Prime Grill down the street. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that, but I
Good
opened.
food.
Awesome, thank you. I opened and closed that restaurant, unfortunately, but yes, I was there the whole time. Wow.
I wonder what's going on.
It's hot. It's very hot.
This is why you'll never see an electric stove in a professional kitchen.
No doubt.
Maybe, I don't know.
Go ahead and fire it up.
I will add my garlic. I'll add my capers as well. Garlic and what? Capers. I don't know if you can see from back there, but I will deglaze this. There we go.
That's the white wine.
Oh, it is.
I had about 2 ounces from the get-go. We'll use 3 total. I'm going to reduce this sauce twice.
Oh, yeah, well, it's smelling good.
Yeah. Chicken stock. We'll go ahead and cover it about halfway, and I'm going to let that reduce down. As I braise this off, you couldn't see it unfortunately, the flour will actually separate from the chicken itself and create a slight roux in my pan. Now this will not come out as a thick and heavy sauce. It's lemon, butter, white wine of course, but it'll keep it from, it'll help it stick to your pasta.
You deglaze with the white wine?
Yes, ma'am. Added the garlic, little capers, little deglaze, little chicken stock. And this will cook down. Now it's nice and hot. There we go.
Yeah. It's actually boiling.
Yeah.
Sizzling.
Any particular pasta you use, or?
I prefer fettuccine with the wider noodle. This is a fork and knife dish. But you can use any pasta you'd like. I mean, penne would work fine. Linguine, anything of that sort.
A good brand pasta is always better. Where we use here, DiCecco, is this, what is this?
Yes.
DiCecco. This is the DiCecco pasta. You want to use a nice Italian pasta. D-I-C-E-C-C-O. You can buy it in the markets. Walmart, I think, even has it.
And I
A nice, good, firm pasta. You always
Yeah,
want.
and don't overcook it.
al dente.
Al dente.
I typically will not turn my chicken again because it's nice and braised on top. The bottom will sit in the solution, and you want that crisp top layer. So again, as it's reducing and thickening, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more white wine. And add just a touch more chicken base. And as this reduces the next time, I'm going to finish this with lemon, of course, and whole butter. I like to add my butter cold so it doesn't break my sauce. If you add it at room temperature to your white wine, it will definitely break your sauce. Now there are ways to fix
Wait,
it.
say that again?
It'll break your sauce down if you add a room temperature butter to something that's hot.
Straight out of the.
Really?
Straight out of the
That's a
fridge.
mistake I've been making.
Did you say cold?
Yeah, cold butter.
I would have thought that it needed to warm, like, you know, like.
Oh, yeah, just.
Tricks of the trade. We're learning too.
Basically what you're doing by adding the cold butter is you want your flour to bind to the butter as it finishes rather than separating from the two, because then you'll just end up with oil in a skillet. You know? And there is ways to fix that. I don't think this will get hot enough to break down, or I would break it and show you that. But if it does break at home, always add a little more white wine, a touch more butter, and turn it off. And it'll come right back together.
No, I'm using cold butter from now on.
It's a good idea. All right.
Thank you.
So I use a whole lemon. Like I said, this is preference. This is how we do it here at Michael J's. We use a whole lemon.
You don't mind being filmed, do you all?
Unfortunately, I found a lemon with no seeds back there, so I'm not using a cheesecloth to do this with.
And do you make this, as people order it, do you make it individually, or do you make part of it ahead of time?
No, it's all done as soon as the ticket comes in. It's all fresh. We dredge it then.
And start the cooking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is pounded first, or else all night long there'd be a racket back there.
Now I found this awfully thin, so this one is just about finished. If you're skeptical at home, just take a knife and make sure it's finished. All right, we'll finish with cold butter.
And why do we use cold butter again?
Sauce doesn't break.
Exactly.
Oh my
They were
goodness.
paying attention.
Oh, you're giving us an example.
And as soon as your butter is melted, you'll just go ahead and turn it off. You can actually melt it 3/4 of the way and it'll continue to heat, of course. The residual will keep it going. I always turn it off about 3/4 of the way so my sauce is nice and thick. And this is just about done.
Yeah, it really is. It is pretty quick, provided you have a.
Yeah. It doesn't take this long to get it out of the kitchen.
Yeah, start to finish, it's probably 8.5 minutes if it's pounding.
Because I don't like to spend a long time in the kitchen.
No.
You know, because to get it done fast. Eat, go, drink the wine.
Alright. So we're going to be serving it today for you all over fettuccine. Like I said, you can use just about any pasta you like. With the butter sauce, the longer noodles work a whole lot better than the penne because it doesn't really hold it as well. But like I said, it's all preference. And we'll go right over the top.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm having for lunch.
I like to use a couple of fresh lemon wedges here. And then we'll add chopped parsley as a garnish. And there you are. Chicken Piccata.
Can I take a picture of your chicken?
Of course. Of course.
There you go.
Any questions or comments or concerns, maybe? No? Alright. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I have seen you out too. Because my girlfriend has a little teeny schnauzer, and I keep thinking that the difference in sizes, I don't know. She likes her schnauzer because it doesn't shed.